Hello everyone, and welcome to the second part in this series. Today I'm gonna continue the gold farming from level 20 and all the way up to level 40. And if you haven't watched part 1, then I recommend you to do this between level 1 to 20. First location that you can start at level 20 takes place here in Hillspread. Killing these humanoid targets will grant you a lot of decent loot, but especially also wool cloth. So this is useful if you need to level up first aid, tailoring, or just make additional gold. Also make sure to pay attention to any nearby chests, because a lot of these can spawn at this area. In wetlands there's a cave with many different spiders. These drop items that you need for different professions. And on top of this, it's also an amazing area to level up mining at the same time. When you reach level 22, then you could always swap back to Hillspread Foothills, especially if you have skinning at the same time. These drop different meats that you can sell, but also a ton of other trash items that vendors for quite a bit. And of course, the leather that you can skin. The downside of this farm is that there's also different horde quests where you need to slay these animals. And if you're an herbalist, make sure to pay attention to any nearby herbs. At level 23, you could go to Stone Talon Mountains. Here you will find different fire elementals that you can slay for elemental fire. This material will be so useful in the beginning of a fresh server because you need elemental fire for fire protection potions in Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, and Onyxia. There's one thing you need to be aware of, and that is that the drop rate of these is very low. In Duskwood, there's an area where there's next to no competition at any given time. You have to be around level 23 or 24, and if you have skinning, then you will increase the gold that you make by a lot. Also pay attention to any nearby veins and chests. This area is so underrated, and that's one of the main reasons why I like it, also because there isn't really any quests for this location, so you can farm non-stop without too much competition. As a horde at above level 23, you could go to Thousand Needles. The downside of this area is that these casters will once in a while try to heal, and they will also flee, so you could pull additional enemies. But the benefit of this area is that you get a lot of cloth, water, food so you can continue your farm, and a lot of green items. So if you have some sort of CC or interruptibility, then this area is amazing for farming gold and leveling. As a character above level 24, then you could always go to Asian Whale. Here you will find different water elementals who has a chance to drop elemental water. A material you will need to make frost protection potions that will be needed later on in Classic WoW. As a level 24 alliance, I would go to Wetlands. Here you can slay these dragons who has a chance to drop many materials that will be important early on. And even a pet that you can also sell on the auction house. The downside of this farm is that it's mentioned in many different gold guides, so there's a high chance that this spot will already be crowded. The positive thing is that these can drop many different items you can easily sell on the auction house, and if you have leveled up skinning, then you can also make additional gold right here. If you wish to continue elemental fire farming, then you could always head here to the southern part of Stone Talon Mountains. This can be done from level 25 and all the way up to level 31. You even have a chance of also getting other materials for engineering, but also blacksmithing. And at level 26, you could always go back to Thousand Needles, where you have the possibility of farming elemental water. Just remember to always pay attention to your breath. Another elemental that you can farm in Thousand Needles is elemental earth, and this you can start doing at around level 27. On an early fresh server, this farm is definitely better compared to the elemental water. Here's a quick gold tip for any of you with first aid. When you get to silk bandages or higher, then you'll make a profit every time you turn your cloth into bandages. For example, a stack of silk cloth vendors for 30 silver, but if I convert this into bandages, then I can sell it for 40 silver. So a profit of 10 silver for every stack. Alright, so at level 29 you could go back to Arathi Highlands. Here you will find a cave with many different yetis. If you have leveled up skinning, then you can skin these to make additional gold. But else it's a decent spot, especially if you also have mining at the same time, as there's many different veins and even chests in here. At level 32, you could go a bit more to the north. then you will be in Eldrake Mountains, where you can continue farming Yetis. These Yetis can also be skinned, and if you have a gather profession, mining or herbalism, then make sure to look out for any herbs or veins. At the same level range, you have another option, which is to go to Swamp of Sorrows and farm dragons. Just like the spot in Wetlands, then there's also a chance of getting another pet, and this is a green dragon. And on top of this, many other materials for different professions. If the dragon spot is already crowded, then you could just farm other animals in the area. Why this is a good farming method is because a lot of these drop grey items you can vendor right away, and these grey items vendor for a lot of silver. So you can make probably anywhere between 5 to 10 gold every single level right here. Another option to farm raw gold would be to go to Badlands, and in the middle of this zone, you can also farm many different animals for raw gold, or well, raw silver. I usually go here at around level 35 or 36. And if you have leveled up skinning, then you can probably increase the gold that you make every single level with 50%. Without skinning, you could just go to Dustwaller Marsh instead. This will allow you to get raw silver from the grey items, and you can also sell the white items, as these are needed for professions. Stranglethorn Whale is crowded with animals, but did you know that this creature has a chance to drop diffused wiring, a material you will need later on as an engineer to craft the repair bot. So if you find these when you level up your character, then make sure to keep them in your bank, as people will need these at max level for when they start raiding and doing dungeons together. In Stranglethorn Whale, you could move a bit more to the south and start killing these basilisks as a skinner. I usually make around 8 raw gold every single level right here, and there isn't much competition for these creatures. At level 37, I usually go to Arathi Highlands, because this is my most favorite farming spot. What I usually farm is these creatures for elemental fire. The downside is that this is recommended in many gold guides, so there might be a high chance of competition. The good thing is that there's so many different creatures, so there's also a high chance that you will get elemental fires. Else you could move a bit more to the south and farm elemental earth at the same level range, starting from level 37 and higher. Sometimes it seems like this is going to be a better farming spot compared to elemental fires, because these creatures not only drop elemental earth, but also so many different grey items that you can vendor for a lot of raw silver. So I would probably go to this location immediately if the other spot is already crowded. Like it wasn't enough, then you can also farm elemental water in the same zone, by going a bit more to the northeast. As an alliance player, you just need to be aware of one thing: you're close to the Horde camp. So don't get too close, or you might accidentally pull a guard. If you wish to see part 3 with level 40 to 60 gold farming, then make sure to like this video and subscribe, so I get notified that there's a lot of interest for these videos. On my channel, you will also find a lot of other gold guides, leveling guides, and a lot of other useful things for either classic WoW or hardcore. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day. Peace!